Welcome to the Netflix Rookie Cup Series here on FMB TV3, race number 14 of 15. Next week, our last race at Sonoma is going to be a wild one, but we have to get through this one first. Welcome to the 1.5-mile oval here at Atlanta, where we're going to host a very pivotal moment of the championship. But before we can settle it all down, let's get to the starting lineup. Qualifying is up next. Back to the Netflix Rookie Cup Series here on FMB TV3. We are about to get racing once again, but before we can do that, let's go over your qualifying order for today's event. Your pole sitter is going to be William Goss in the 3. The 27 of Bale will take second. Gardner in the 77 will take third. The 18 of Tyler Wesley will take fourth. The 99 of Reeds will take fifth, followed by Talampus, Scott, McGee, Hosky, and Corey Heffley to round out your top 10. Let's go over your notable finishers here for the qualifying. Pandiscio, who would be 1 point out of the lead behind Stanley, is going to qualify 35th. Stanley will get 34th or 33rd. They'll start out in no point paying positions, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But here we go with the call to start these engines and get this race moving.
Drivers, start your engines.
As we roll off the grid, let's get to some hot topics for today. Alex Bates and Dick will join us in the booth. What do you think we can expect, Alex?
We're definitely, it's a really fast track here at Atlanta, and it's shortly here. It's going to be under the lights, and you got to expect we're going to have some drivers out here. Only 2 races left. A lot of them going to want to get their one and only win for the season. You're probably going to see a lot of side-by-side racing and definitely a lot of lead changes.
And I presume you probably are correct. But once again, it's like always, we have to race a couple laps and get to the end of this race before we can find out who's going to take it home. But I know who does want to take it home. It's Goss and it's Bale, who lead them to the flag here at Atlanta.
Yeah, Pandiscio and Stanley definitely has a lot of work to do.
But up front, a lot of work is being made already on the bottom. Gardner being pushed by Reeds on the bottom. Now Reeds goes to the bottom and try to take the lead away from Goss. But he's got to get around Gardner, but he's got help from behind. Here comes Scott in the 10.
Reeds gets down to the bottom of Gardner here in 3 and 4. He's going to pass him off of 4, and he's going to have a run and look on the inside of Goss.
I think we'll see the high line play a big difference in the way this race plays out. And if you already look, Gardner is pushing Goss on the high side. And look at Reeds. No help and really no speed either. And it looks like these guys are going to go right around him on the high side.
Behind
and
them,
3 wide in the
got
back.
Bale and Wesley working it even higher than Gardner and Goss. And it looks like they might have McGee I think that's McGee tagging along with them.
Yeah, we've got the Lotus teammates on the high side, and behind all that, 3x3x3, it's like a pack race here at Atlanta.
And Gardner's going to move Goss up out of the way. He's not wasting any time. He's going to lead this lap. Qualified up front last week, qualified near the front today. He needs that win.
As Gardner goes around Goss, let's go quickly, Becker, to check on the points leaders. Going into this race, Pandiscio and the 57 and Jeremy Stanley, as they continue to run almost dead last in the back. They need to get going and definitely might need to start thinking about what could happen up here if someone makes a mistake.
As far back as they are right now, if I were them, I'd be worried about avoiding the wreck that has to happen.
Yeah, we're seeing 3x3 racing. We didn't even see this at Vegas last week, but something to talk about. The speeds are not as high. We're 20 miles per hour actually slower than what we were seeing last week. But that still doesn't mean these cars aren't going fast. We're seeing speeds 180 almost sustained all the way around this track.
And definitely something to watch here as the run goes on to see how these speeds keep up. But we've got somebody we haven't seen up front in a while, and that's Ogle.
Yeah, Ogle making the way. He's actually doing it in style, already pulling out to almost a 2-car length lead, as they've got a 3-wide battle. And I think we'll start to see the field thin out here, at least for the first 6 or 7 rows. The middle pack, I believe, will stay the most packed all day. But as for now, they're starting to straighten it out, and we're back to 2-wide racing for the most part here.
Yeah, the way they're racing right now, somebody's gonna slip and there's gonna be a wreck. So they're gonna have to get single file or at least double file pretty fast.
Yeah, Ryan Williams not getting the memo, though. He goes 3 wide, and in doing that, he messes himself up. Now Gardner goes to the middle, Wesley behind Williams, and the position Williams started in, which was 12th, he's actually moved his way up through the field quite nicely.
Yeah, Williams, after a heartbreaking finish to last week's race, he's on a drive these last few races. He's had a pretty rough season, getting into almost every wreck, I'd assume, and he wants to go out there and show that he can win one of these.
Yeah, Williams, one of the many drivers still wanting to get their first win of the season, with only about 4 or 5 drivers actually winning the 13 races this season so far, or the 14 races this season so far. We're going to crown a new one tonight. We'll have to see if that changes. But in the meantime, it appears that the new face up front is continuing to hold it just nice. We've actually got a couple new faces up front. Just until last week, we hadn't seen Zach Austin. The first time he gets up front, he takes the win in a dramatic finish at Vegas. And right now, a new guy as well, Eddie Roberts. He's been in a lot of wrecks this season. He's looking to get his win as well.
Definitely something you look for in a rookie series, and that's progress. And a lot of these drivers, these last few races, have really proven what they can do with the experience they now have.
Yeah, there's been a couple drivers that have broke out in the past 5 races, getting down to crunch time. Really show what you're made of.
We're 9 laps already into this 49-lap race. And I just want to just make sure you guys notice something. Look at Ogle making it work on the high side, and just like that, Eddie Roberts moves right up the high line, seeing what Ogle just did to him. I mean, embarrassed him.
Well, that's all going on. Points contender Tyler Wesley is going to just pass them all down on the bottom. He's going to try to chase down Ogle.
Making it work is Tyler Wesley, as Bates has just mentioned. He moves up to second place. Well, now Eddie Roberts continues to try that high line, as it seems to be the fastest way around this circuit, but it is the longer way around it, so the speed has to match the distance. And right now, going the distance, Zach Austin trying to get back up front as he's falling back a little bit.
And what I've noticed is, while everybody else is running the teams like their car's better in the middle and high groove, Tyler Wesley just passed the top 5 or 6 cars on the bottom. So it looks like his car is definitely working on the bottom, opposed to all the other contenders.
Yeah, it looks like as the run goes on and the sun starts to set, Wesley's car is really starting to kick in, and he's going for the lead here.
Tyler Wesley up front on the inside, but here comes Eddie Roberts. He's back for vengeance. He's on the high side with Ogle.
Something you'll see a lot of here tonight. Cars working together whenever they want to make that high side work.
And as the runs went on, and we're seeing now, it's Eddie Roberts pushing Ogle around Wesley, not wanting him to take the lead, so Ogle still leads. But as the run goes on, as I was trying to mention, it seems that this field is thinning out, and with that happening, the sense of urgency has just went down. These guys have really settled in for what I believe to be a really long run.
Yeah, that 3x3 lasted quite a few laps, and they I guess they realized that it was a little unnecessary, and now they got in a smarter position.
As Ogle continues to pull away as Wesley and Eddie Roberts go at it for the second position, let's go back and take a look while we have some time. We're looking for Jeremy Stanley, who is being scored second to last place right now. He has lost the draft, and I'm curious if he doesn't have a problem with that engine. And I would say the same almost for Pendiscio, who had a really bad starting spot. He's not in as worse shape as Stanley is, but he's still running 26th.
Yeah, it'd be safe to say Stanley just backed off and lost the draft, and it means that much, or there just might be something wrong.
Stanley right now being scored 6 seconds off the leader. This time by, it is 8 seconds, so almost 2 seconds per lap. And just to put it in perspective, Stanley's coming onto the backstretch while the leaders are going into 3 and 4.
Definitely not where you want to be as the points leader by only 1 point here today.
Yeah, and Tyler Wesley, talking about maximizing your chances, is doing just that. He has not had a good run of couple last races. He has the winning record of the season tied with 2, which is with Stanley and himself and Brown. But You know, he's been on a streak of pretty bad races, not being able to really get something going consistent-wise. And right now, if he can just finish right here, he makes up a ton of points. Matter of fact, depending where Talampas is to finish,
we're gonna have
he
a
would.
three-wide battle for first.
Yep, 3 wide for first. And I was saying Talampas is just right behind that. So Wesley has to keep that in mind as we go 3 wide for the first position. And here comes Zach Austin. He's on the high side, and he looks like he's going to start pushing Ogle. He's on the very high side, is Zach Austin.
He's above
He gets pushed up by Gardner.
Definitely a lot of different working lanes here at Atlanta, and Tyler Wesley is really dedicated to that bottom. He makes up ground with it, but he's not making up positions with it. But it looks like they might have slipped up entering one. He might have something here.
Yeah, he drives in very deep, but what I see is right when he gets to the middle of the corner, he's driving it in so hard, it's either the tires or just the car at this point that can't sustain the grip level, and he has to get out of it, and that's what gives the Highline such an advantage.
Yeah, and the Highline, there's always people up there working with the first place car, and since everybody's up on the high side, Tyler Wesley really doesn't have any help on the bottom.
And Eddie Roberts goes right in front of Tyler Wesley, right across his nose. Ogle remains up there, and Gardner's with him. Here comes Walton. Zach Austin in the background or the foreground, but here comes Wesley again, trying that bottom, trying everything he can. He's going to make it work eventually. Question is when.
Yeah, somebody's definitely going to slip up here, and he's just waiting to strike.
You gotta think though, with him just diving it in there each lap, you gotta think it's gonna hurt his tires, and you know, if he doesn't get the lead soon, he might have ran out of a chance to get it at all.
Well, we have some things coming up as Jeremy Stanley crossed the line this time. Aaron Fan, the 44 of Fan, is 36th place, which is the last on the track. These guys are going to be coming up on him, and we've seen just at Vegas how tedious it can be to get around these lappers, especially when the speed difference is almost 10, and it's almost 20 with Fan. So they're going to catch him very fast.
Whenever you have the drivers racing side by side and even 3-wide like they are, it's gonna be tricky to get around a slow lap car.
And as all this is going on, lead change is about to be in order. Ogle to the bottom, but we haven't seen that bottom come in yet. But it might be the choice or the place to be, is Eddie Roberts has to cut right down in front of Ogle to get around the 44 of Fan, and Ogle's there 3 wide, and it now remains 2. And these guys are getting around this lap car very easily, but it's before they get to Talampas it's going to be the problem.
Yeah, Talampas looks like the only one of our leaders so far to get held up by the lap car, and looks to be content with it. I think he actually is using them for, in his mind, an advantage.
Trying to. Here is Tyler Wesley. He goes to the high side. Not many times today we've seen that occur. And now the 44, it seems that he's gotten to draft. He's able to keep up with these guys, so we'll have to see if that plays a part in this. And look at this. Tyler Wesley's got something to go with him on the bottom, and he's getting pushed by Ogle, and it's leaving Eddie Roberts on the high side with no one, and that's going to give Wesley the advantage down the backstretch.
But you got to think that if Ogle doesn't go with him to the bottom here in 3 and 4, it's all for naught.
Yeah, here comes Gardner, though, so it's going to be a tango, if you will. But Gardner can't get to him, but Ogle can. Still side by side for the lead. Fantastic racing up front. But now it's going to be dire straits for championship contender Jeremy Stanley, as he is just now coming off turn number 2. They are just about to come off turn number 2 as well. And Tyler Wesley, again, he's so resilient. He jumps to the bottom. He's going to keep trying. Like I said, it's eventually going to work.
He's got a major run going into 3. He might be able to help Wesley by here off of 4.
We'll have to wait and see. Ogle's right on the back bumper of Roberts, so, I mean, it's, like, again, it's not really getting anywhere.
And even though Pandisco is in this back pack that just went past start-finish line, he's still scored 26 right now, so he's not really helping his points chances either.
So Pandisco out of the points as of right now. He is in the back of what's really remaining of that huge field that actually holds about 15 cars at the most, if that. And now it appears these guys have really just jumped all to the bottom, and they are 3 wide back here. Let's look at this. Corey Heflin in the middle, the Lotus teammates of
they're going to go 3 wide for
Martinez.
the lead. As Ogle goes right through the middle, takes the lead from Eddie Roberts.
Now Ogle back up
and
front.
Tyler Wesley, I was about to say, if he doesn't jump back in line, he's going to get hung out of here on the bottom.
Now what's about to occur what's about to occur could end the chances for Jeremy Stanley to win a championship. If he goes a lap down, it's going to be almost impossible for him to get this lap back. We're closing in on the last so many laps of this race, and it's only a matter of time before they catch him with the speed difference. He's running, last lap was a 30.8, and these guys were running 29s, even close to 28. So definitely a big speed difference, as we're just looking at Ogle come across the line at 190 miles per hour as they enter turn 1. And there they are in the viewfinder. You see Jeremy Stanley in front of them.
If
So
he
to
can
break this,
if he can hold down just a bit longer, I think that they only roughly get 30 laps of fuel here. He could maybe hold out and have to wait for them to pit before he gets lapped.
yeah, Zach Austin again trying the high side as we are 28 laps to this race without a caution. Brilliant drive with these guys, especially after the nonsense we've seen at Vegas. But here we go. Getting around Jeremy Stanley is Ogle. He's going to lose a lap instantly into 1.
And that's going to give Wesley the advantage to get around Roberts here. But looks like just like with the 44, whenever Stanley got in the draft, he really wasn't that much off the pace.
You have to wait and see if Jeremy can get his lap back. And I believe some of these guys are pitting this lap. You see Gardner on pit road along with the 43 of Austin. Just like you said, Bates, we were very close to our scheduled pit stops as a couple cars follow in behind them. So on pit road, Games, Riddle, Scott, Fan, Austin, and Gardner all on pit road, and we suspect to see the leaders in the next coming laps.
Clintock is in.
Tyler Wesley in the
Wesley's
38 of
coming in.
Ogle. They're all
Ogle's-
coming in this
yeah.
lap.
Columbus is going to go get a lap lead here, going to get some of those important championship points.
So Stanley is not going to make it. Unfortunately, unless something big happens, it looks like he's going to remain a lap down, and that might be the stake in the heart for his championship contention. But you never know. Anything can happen on these tracks, especially next week, but it's definitely not a good sign. Now we'll have to wait and see if
what he
these,
wanted to do today.
yeah, we'll have to wait and see if these guys get off pit road just fine. We've seen, it's been known that these rookies have a hard time getting off pit road, especially when they swap the strategies on pit road. And it appears that it's going to be pretty cut and dry.
Came in, so once they're all off, that's it for green flag stops.
So it appears we're going to see a one-stop race here as we close in on the end of this race. A very quick one indeed. Well, we're going to wait for all this to...
Not given much space on the apron here as they get ready to merge. Looks like they might just make it here, though. Keep it green.
We're going to go to our first and last caution, commercial, excuse me. And we're back here at the Netflix Rookie Cup Series. Ryan Williams has just blown up and is on pit road. He is retired. We're still waiting to see if that's going to throw a caution. It appears that it hasn't put any oil on the track for now. Gardner led before
Wesley
they came
had
back.
just taken the lead.
Yeah,
That
Tyler
is-
Wesley takes the lead, finally gets it done, and he leads. It's going to be a question of how long he can hold it, as Gardner is there behind him. And here comes Ogle on the high side with Bale as his partner.
But Wesley getting that bonus point right there is very important, because if you look just behind him, you'll see the 57 of Jeremy Stanley. The only problem is he's not on the same lap.
Definitely a big deal, especially with Talampas where he's at. Right now, Talampas being scored 8th. Not the maximum points that he wants, but Tyler Wesley is in that position to get maximum points, and he's actually starting to pull away from this second pack.
Just for a second, it looks like now that Zach Austin's got to the bottom, that pack's moving.
Tyler Wesley continues to pull away on new tires, but here comes Gardner on the high side with Ogle. Help from Ogle on the high side.
Now we're going to see if it's going to be a case of Eddie Roberts. And because when Eddie Roberts would stay on the high side, nobody could really get around him. So we'll see if Tyler Wesley will pull that same move once this second pack actually catches him.
But I'm actually
they
not
can catch him.
I'm not actually sure they can. Tyler Wesley continuing to pull away. He's actually putting down the fastest lap times of the race on the early end of the run for himself. And he's actually starting to do it in style on the bottom line while all these other guys are trying just about everything.
You got to think, though, if they get into a somewhat of a line in any lane, that they can just catch up to him and have a run at this lead for themselves. But it looks like they're all obsessed with second at the moment.
3 wide. Gardner got a heck of a run off turn 2, and he held it all the way down the backstretch. And he's actually continuing to hold it off turn number 4, but not able to get around the 43 of Zach Austin on the bottom line. 10 to go next time by for Tyler Wesley, doing exactly what he needed to do to get back into this championship. Jeremy Stanley not in contention to score points, and Robert Pandiscio looking for him right now to see where he remains on this track. As we're looking for him, see if he's going to score points. Right now, Pandiscio 11th, so Pandiscio will score points. So Tyler Wesley still has to make sure he gets this win and moves on to Sonoma and gets something there with a road course. We're not sure how that'll play out, but it's still far from over. 9 laps to go.
Yeah, there's been laps where Austin will make up time, and there's been laps where he'll lose time. It's just kind of stuck here at about this 5 car lengths gap.
Not sure if anybody can get to him. Tyler Wesley is just riding high and riding happy right now. This is exactly what he wanted. And there's really no one to contest it, as no one's able to really form a line to get to him.
So close, but so far away here. And exhausted.
And it's stuff like that which you could think would cause mistakes, but we've not seen any today as Tyler Wesley comes across the line. Zach Austin behind him. And I believe we have a caution on the track as all these guys are slowing. Caution is out on the track. We don't know what for. As everybody slows down, lap 42 of 49, looks like we're going to have a 2-3 lap shootout. And we're waiting for our officials to tell us what has happened. As Tyler Wesley leads, Zach Austin second, and it appears Ogle and Gardner. Ogle is ahead of Gardner, so caution out, and we're getting reports now. Debris up in turn 3 at the high part of the track. We can see why they throw a caution for that. The high line is being used tonight quite a bit. But Tyler Wesley did not want to see that. Now the question is, are they going to pit? They just did a pit stop about 8 or 10 laps ago. No one elects this time.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if we have any takers next time around. See if anybody's gonna roll the dice.
Now we've seen this same situation at Michigan where Tyler Wesley was leading when a late caution bunched up the field. Some elected to pit, some did not. But keep in mind that was at the end of a very long fuel run, in which seen Tyler Wesley not elect to pit until the very last lap, which he did not score points in. A very hectic race. Well, we're going to go to our last commercial break. We'll be right back with the conclusion of today's race. It's going to get exciting. Do not go away. Back to the Netflix Rookie Cup Series. And oh boy, do we have a special one for you. It's going to be officially, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4 laps at the line, I believe, when we get the green flag. And 4 laps, Tyler Wesley wish he could be doing full speed, and basically the race could already be over. Debris caution coming out in turn 3 and 4. Zach Austin loves it. It's the opposite with Wesley. But if anything, we do know the 18 is going to fight as hard as possible to get this. But with the 43 being as young as he is going to do everything in his ability to move that 18. And I believe if they're not careful, they're going to have Ogle in the 77 and Gardner. And I wouldn't even be counting out Goss on their tails if they're not looking. The 18 is going to lead them to the flag. Here is the last couple laps of today's race. Green flag is out, and Tyler Wesley spins the tires, and that bunches up the 43, and Ogle wasn't having it. He almost jumped to the outside.
And you got to think that these final laps are going to look just like our opening laps, and they're going to fan out 3 wide before this is over.
3 wide already. Jeremy Stanley, the lap car. He moves Goss up the track, and that puts Bell in a very bad position. Here comes Gardner on the inside of Ogle.
Let's see if anybody will go with Gardner.
The 18, he wants this bad, but is he going to have to work for it? Yes, he will. Through turns 3 and 4, he still leads, and he's starting to pull away from the 43.
Last week's winner, Zach Austin, running second. You know he wants his second win of the season right here, riding that momentum.
The 18's been good when it mattered, and now it does matter.
Tyler Wesley is so good on that bottom side. He just pulls away from the second place car.
Tyler Wesley doing...
Ogle thought about taking a look underneath of the 43.
Tyler Wesley is just continuing to pull away, and no one is able to catch 43 except for Ogle. But back in the pack, they are stacked 3 wide, as we just presumed was going to happen.
And you just got to think that Wesley just keeps on looking at his mirror, and he's probably grinning from ear to ear right now. You know, he's talking to his crew, he's saying, just let him race, let him race.
He's hoping for that white flag.
This time by, the flagsman will hold the white flag in his hands. That's what Tyler Wesley wants to see. Out of turn number 4, Tyler Wesley comes to the line. White flag is in the air. Here comes Zach Austin, though. He's not going to give up one last shot. He's got 3 corners to go through. He's actually closed on him a little bit in that corner, but I think it's all too little too late as they come out of turn number 2. Here comes Ogle. The battle is going to be for second and third. Stanley to the bottom. It's not for position, though. He is all over the back bumper to the 34. The 77 Gardner's going to try one last time on the high side, but off turn number 3 and 4. Tyler Wesley goes to 3 wins of the season and moves his way up into the championship contender spot. He held him off. That's all he had to do. And it was side by side. It was fisticuffs for everything behind him.
Looks like Zach Austin just barely edged out Ogle for second.
Now the question is going to be, where is Talampus in all this mess?
Pandiscio got back up to 8th.
Talampus is going to get 13th, so that's going to give Tyler Wesley an advantage over Talampus, and it's going to be very close. Thank you guys for joining in for the 14th race of the season. We move on next week to Sonoma, where it's all going to come to an end for Season 1 of the Netflix Rookie Cup Series, and we're going to crown a champion. And after today, we can honestly say it's going to be tough to guess who it's going to be. Join us next week for Round 15 at Sonoma, where we go to the road course to end it all. Vonderberg, the road course ringer, trying to get a win while everybody else is trying to get a championship. Join us. Don't miss it. And like always, for Alex Bates, Dick, and Bobby Campbell, till we meet again.